Hello, hello, hello. It is me, your Tru Heel Phenom SP3. We are live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter with the Tru Heel Heats IMPACT Wrestling Sacrifice 2021 Roundtable Review. This is a special one. We didn't even advertise this. This is a whim of our seats. We want to do consistent live content right here on Tru Heel Heat on our Facebook page and social medias. So we do this just for you. We didn't have a live Tru Heel Heat this week, so we coming to you for IMPACT Sacrifice on the IMPACT Plus app. It was live last night on that app, and what a show it was. This is a reminder to everyone watching on YouTube. Drop us a like if you are new to the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel. Push the subscribe button or the iCard to subscribe to the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel. Push the bell to press all so you always get alerted when we go live with these live streams or any great content right here on Tru Heel Heat. And if you're watching on Facebook, tag a friend, drop your comments in the live chat. We want to hear from you guys. We want to hear what you thought about IMPACT Wrestling Sacrifice 2021. But I am not the only person here to talk about it. I have the co-hosts of Blunt Impact, the experts on IMPACT Wrestling. First of all, we have one half of the Pot Heels, co-hosts of Blunt Impact, co-hosts of Joints and Jabronis, co-host of Wednesday Night Warriors. He is the Tru Heel marijuana enthusiast himself, Chris G, with his lovely assistant, Mary Jane.
As always, she's always by my side. How's everybody doing, man? We had a exciting night that I had to catch in the morning, but I caught it, and it was a good show.
You understand?
Yes. I think we were all on the same wavelength on that one, but we caught it, and it was worth it.
Absolutely worth the watch. So we're gonna get into it right after I introduce the other host for this roundtable review. He is the other half of the Pot Heels, the other co-host for Blunt Impact and Joints and Jabronis. You could always hear him talking about Ring of Honor on Review of Honor with the Stat King, and hear his illustrious voice on True Toxicity. He is the three-time baby making champion. This is Ness.
Tru Heels, what is the deal? I'm glad to be here with my good brothers reviewing a great show overall. A lot of twists and turns. Some matches went ways that I didn't expect them to go, but you know, swerves are always right when they're done properly. So I'll take that.
You always enjoy a good swerve when it comes at a good time, and boy oh boy, did this show have plenty of them for us to enjoy. So we want to hear what you thought about all the twists and turns. But let's get into the headline of this show, why everybody was talking about this show going into last night. It was the IMPACT Wrestling World Heavyweight Championship on the line, as well as the TNA World Heavyweight Championship on the line. Title unification, Rich Swann versus Moose. This match has been building since pretty much the end of last year, and these two men had a lot of animosity going into this title unification match. This was a really good main event to the evening, and you know, a historical main event as well. I think it's like only the fifth or fourth time that two African American performers have performed for a World Heavyweight Championship on a special event or pay-per-view. So it's a historic match in that. And it's a historic match because these two guys went in there and tore it up. You know, Rich Swann, his high-flying stylings, but really Moose has really stood out in every opportunity that he's gotten in the main event scene. These two guys went at it for over 20 minutes. In the end, it was Rich Swann who gained the victory with the roll-up, still protecting Moose. And Rich Swann is our unified IMPACT Wrestling and TNA World Heavyweight Champion. So Rich Swann not only is the first unified champion, but he now goes on to April 24th, Saturday, April 24th, live on pay-per-view, IMPACT Wrestling Rebellion to verse the AEW World Heavyweight Champion, Kenny Omega, in a title versus title match there. Ness, let's start with you. What was your thoughts on this matchup? And what's your thoughts on Rich Swann being the first ever unified champion of Impact Wrestling?
Well, I gave this match 4.25 stars. It was really great. Just overall, the build up to the match, like you said, it's been going on since last year up to this point, and now it just got to the climax. We have Moose, who's been on a tear literally since last year, running through pretty much all of the Impact roster and some of the AEW roster when Kenny Omega when he makes his way over. But yeah, man, it's just great overall. The momentum that Moose had going into this match, I personally at first thought that he was going to win. It kind of made sense looking at it from that standpoint. But overall, just having Rich Swann come out with the victory, I think that makes a little bit more sense. A lot of people are don't like the decision of Rich Swann going over. First of all, Moose is literally the most protected person in Impact. I think he's more protected than Rich Swann because the way that Rich Swann won, Moose ran headfirst into a chair. So it wasn't necessarily a dirty finish, but it wasn't a flat out, clean win, so to speak. And, you can always accredit that to the loss. Again, now it's going to be Rich Swann versus Kenny Omega. Had Moose won, because I'm pretty sure we all can agree on this, Kenny Omega is not going to take an L, regardless of whoever he was going to face. He's not going to take the L. So a lot of people are not liking that, Moose was built up. But that's the thing. You have to build up somebody to make them look like a threat and to make them viable for the title shot, to make, people want to be invested in these things. If a person's not looking like they can actually take down, the champion, they got to be a viable challenger. And that's what Moose looked like going into this match. They don't necessarily always have to win. But again, he had that momentum and he had that build and he had that all the energy and everything going into the match. It just showed that how much more of a fighting champion that Rich Swann is. So I greatly appreciate that. But yeah, back to the one point I was trying to make. If Moose had gone over and was going to go face Kenny Omega, people would have complained about that as well. Moose gets built up, gets the title for a month, and then has to drop it. So why even do that when you have someone that's been champion that needed? This is the win that I think that Rich Swann really needed to solidify himself as a champion. Moose, again, the biggest, baddest guy on the roster, got beat by someone half his size. Again, the chair came into play, but again, at the end of the night, Rich Swann stepped up to Moose. It wasn't just one-sided. He brought the fight, and that's what he needed to solidify himself as Impact World Champion, TNA Heavyweight Champion at this point, the unification. And I just think overall the match itself, the story behind it, everything just worked out perfectly. So kudos to both guys. And before people start complaining, Moose is going to be fine, folks. He's going to be okay.
He's going to be fine. We got in the comments on Facebook that moonsault fall away slam by Moose, beautiful. That springboard cutter by Swann to Moose, a bit much and unnecessary though. That was from Romeo or Wednesday Night Warriors. Yeah, this match had a bunch of highlights to it. Definitely the springboard cutter from Swann to Moose when he tried to do the tip up, I think, cross body, and then the moonsault fall away slam. That's one of the best spots I've seen all year. A guy Moose's size, like, it's one thing to do like a Spanish fly, but to hold someone's body at the same time doing the moonsault, I think that shows a little bit more athleticism. And like I said, Moose has been showing out in these main event spots. We saw it at Hard to Kill. We saw it here. Chris G, what was your thoughts on the main event to Sacrifice?
It's I get it, right? I get why Rich Swann won. I can't go wrong with the result. As much as I wanted Moose to win, and I think Moose deserves to win, but I get it. So I'm not even gonna get mad about that. All the whole match, just the whole like clash of styles, strength versus speed, the fucking Rich Swann just biting Moose to get out of certain difficult situations. That moonsault fall away slam, just damn, so good, So good. It's just like after the springboard cutter, you're like, damn, what can they possibly do next? And then they pull that shit out. And it's just like, damn. Rich Swann winning with the roll up doesn't bother me, not one bit. I like the fact that Moose might be the most protected guy in Impact. Nothing wrong with that. I gave this match 4.25 stars as well. I think obviously Kenny Omega is going to win the championship from Rich Swann, right? I think Moose is going to be the guy to bring the title back home to Impact. So I get it. I get it.
Sorry, I said this on Tru Heel Heat 116 this week that Moose, they've been really crafting a great arc for Moose this entire time. Like underneath the surface, while people are feuding for the Impact World Championship, all the way back from when Tessa Blanchard was the champion last year, Moose has been cultivating like his momentum to the main event scene. We thought he was there in 2018 when he versed Austin Aries at Slammiversary, but he just came up short. He was a babyface at the time, and then he's gone into this complete transformation and turned into this different type of animal. And Moose is an animal. It makes sense. So this whole match kind of encapsulated that with the way Rich was kind of like ditching and dodging to kind of get through Moose in the beginning. Then he had to really get gritty and get tough towards the end of the matchup. And really just avoiding Moose and doing the invading tactics, like Ness said. And eventually Moose ran into the steel chair, and then he missed a fourth spear attempt, and then that's how Rich got the win. But like Chris said, all the Moose fans need to calm down, need to simmer down. It's all about the long game, and patience in wrestling used to be something that paid off all the time. And it just seems like fans nowadays are not patient when it comes to the person that they are fans for. If they don't win when they feel that it's right, they're just done. Like there are times when people wait too long. Example, one of the best bookers in the business, Gato, and waiting and not giving Naito the run at Wrestle Kingdom 12, instead giving it at Wrestle Kingdom 14. That didn't work out quite as well. Yes, Naito became the first ever IWGP Heavyweight and Intercontinental Champion, but Naito was at his highest at Wrestle Kingdom 12, and he didn't pull the trigger there. And, you know, a lot of people probably would have said the time to pull the trigger for Moose was at Slammiversary 2018, but they have really crafted a story for him and a build-up. And you know, he made remarks on Twitter following the main event of Slammiversary saying that he's going to take time off. He needs to reevaluate, rebuild, rebrand, reclaim, and think about the future. And I think the future for Moose is that he returns as the returning hero and he saves the Impact World Championship from Kenny Omega. But like both of you guys said, Kenny Omega is going to win at Rebellion. He has to win at Rebellion, and we all want him to win at Rebellion, and he needs to win at Rebellion. So it just makes sense for Rich Swann to hold on to the title. Him and Kenny Omega are gonna have one hell of a matchup, and it's one of the biggest matches of the year. So what are you thinking about this? What do you think the buildup is going to be for Kenny Omega versus Rich Swann at Rebellion, Ness?
Man. I honestly, I have no idea at the moment because it seems like we just need Rich to show up on Dynamite sometimes. You know, we have a month away for it to happen. Kenny's been on multiple episodes of Impact. It needs to be a cross brand thing back and forth. It can't just be just, I don't want to say Kenny creating the whole situation with him just showing up on Impact. It needs to be back and forth. But the match itself, I'm ready for. I'm ready for it. I just want to see it.
I think the whole wrestling world is ready for it. It's something that's putting a lot of attention on Impact Wrestling as well, which is always a good thing. More attention for more wrestling out there. You know, that's kind of been the motto of Tru Heel Heat, that we watch all of wrestling. And Impact is giving us more reason to watch them, and that's always a good thing. Chris, what do you think about Swann versus Omega at Rebellion on April 24th.
Well, as for the build, I agree with Ness. I hope we see a little Rich Swann on Dynamite. Sure, we'll see Kenny with Don Callis on Impact acting like an asshole, downplaying Impact, and talk about collecting belts and all this shit, which is great. But I want to see a little Rich Swann on Dynamite to make him feel more important. He needs to feel more like a multi-platinum star, kind of. You know what I mean? So multi-brand, multi-promotion, whatever you want to call it. Feel bigger that way. For the match itself, I'm calling it 5 stars. There's no reason why this match can't go 5 stars. This has 5-star potential written all over. The story's there. The historical impact, no pun intended, is there. The athleticism is going to be there. It's just, come on, man. Can't wait.
Absolutely. I don't know if did you give us your star rating for Swann versus Moose?
Yeah, 4.25.
I'm gonna agree with UNS 4.25. This match has been building up for 4-5 months now. It had a good build up going in, and it did live up to the build up. It was a quality main event, really good action throughout. Moose looked like a monster, and like I said, this whole transformation of Moose, like he was kind of like a comedy figure at the beginning of his heel turn, and now he's like a legitimate monster main event heel. And it's so great to see, as someone that's been a Moose fan since he started off in Ring of Honor. It's great to see how far he's come, because he was not in this shape and he was not the man that he is today in Impact Wrestling. So it's great to see. But fellas, that wasn't the only title change or big title shakeup in Impact Wrestling at Impact Sacrifice. Keep on coming in the comments section, though. We want to hear what your guys' thoughts on Impact Wrestling Sacrifice 2021 was, as well as the Swann versus Moose main event, what your star rating was for that matchup, and what you guys think of Swann versus Omega at Impact Wrestling Rebellion. We got a couple of people in the comments here. We got Jason Campbell over on YouTube saying, hey, y'all, what's going on, Jason? He also says, hopefully Kenny Omega wins, because Rich Swann as champion makes Impact unwatchable. Wow. AMC, always with the harsh takes. He says that I like Rich Swann. I just think he's overrated. I don't really care for him. Woof. Okay, coming with that heat. We also got on YouTube Rambo77.619. Christian Cage might as well go Impact now as well. A title feud already. I told you it's happening again way too soon. I am not so down on Christian Cage going after Kenny Omega in the AEW World Championship as everybody else is. AEW has inspired enough faith in me to say that he's not going to win it. So I'm okay with Christian and Omega having a great match. I don't know about you guys. What do you guys think about that, Ness?
I'm going to say, off of the basis of, because we see it in WWE where they bring back a past superstar and put the title on them. I don't think that AEW would do the same thing. Now, just getting a match is great. I don't think they're going to all the guys that they have on their roster of today's generation, as far as wrestling, they don't need to put a title on a Christian Cage. I just want to see him perform again. I was more so a Christian fan than Edge, so I'm actually happy to see him back, and now he's going to be able to go at the caliber of his own pace and not someone else's. But yeah, I don't think he's going to get the title. They know that doesn't make any sense for them to do that.
Yeah. It wouldn't be like AEW, you know. They do inspire these type of comparisons and criticism at times, but I don't think this is something to kind of pull our hair out of already. Chris, what's your thoughts on Christian Cage going after the AEW World Championship? And do you think he's going to show up in Impact and get involved in the Swann Omega feud?
Well, I mean, I don't mind him getting a match off the rip with Kenny. He's not going to win. It's guaranteed at this point. I don't think he's going to win. But it's going to be a way to show that Christian can still go. And even at a main event level, even if we haven't seen him in however many years, right? It would be dope to see him back in Impact. Like, just one time for one episode. He needs to have Tomko with him. He can't have Styles with him, so he needs to come with Tomko. That's the only caveat that I have. But Yeah, it would be cool. There's no real reason or storyline for him to go back, but just a pop-up appearance one day would be cool.
He could just pull like his storyline brother and get upset that somebody else is getting the title shot before him. Like just that's the gimmick of Edge and Christian. I'm an old school Edge and Christian fan, so maybe I'm a little bit biased. That's why I asked you guys. We also got the great Heel Steven. He has a great YouTube channel. You should definitely check it out. Definitely does great content over there. He says Moose was the one for the Kenny match. I mean, like I said before, I just think that Swann needs to be the guy that drops the title to Kenny Omega at Rebellion. And then Moose is the guy to beat Kenny Omega. Not for this match. He's the guy to beat Kenny Omega. And that's not happening at Rebellion. So I don't see the reason to have
also with that, like even when Kenny's first started showing up on an Impact, Swann's the champion. So that's the story that I don't know if people actually paid attention to that. These guys already have animosity with each other. Moose was just interjected in, the main event 6-man tag, but the story literally is Rich Swann, Impact champion, AEW champion Kenny Omega already clashing. So it really wrote itself. But like you said, people, they have their own opinions, which I don't, I'm all for that. Everybody can feel how they feel. But I'm just saying, if you were really paying attention, you would know that this makes the most sense.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. Like I said this also on Tru Heel Heat 116. If you were watching Impact Wrestling around the time of like Bound for Glory and afterwards Bound for Glory, it seemed like they were on their way to Moose versus Rich Swann at Hard to Kill. If not Hard to Kill, then probably Rebellion. And Kenny Omega getting inserted in the whole Impact Wrestling storyline changed the course for them. And they changed course. They have gotten more eyes on their product. They are in a good state right now. So Kenny Omega being the champion, I think is only a positive for the company to put more eyes on them. And I think it would be great to eventually have Moose be the guy that beats them and eventually, finally becomes Impact Wrestling World Champion. But that wasn't the only shakeup with titles and the championship picture, guys. We also got to talk about the other big headline coming out of Impact Wrestling Sacrifice as a tag team from a different promotion won the Impact Wrestling Tag Team Champions. Yes, it was New Japan Pro Wrestling's Finjuice facing the Impact Wrestling Tag Team Champions, the Good Brothers. These guys have been feuding ever since Finjuice appeared in Impact Wrestling, and we had a barn burner of a tag team matchup here. This one went back and forth. Good Brothers took a little bit of control, and then Finjuice made their comeback, doing a lot of homages to old tag teams. Eventually, they took out Doc Gallows out on the outside, and they hit Carl Anderson with the Doomsday Device in honor of the late, great Road Warrior Animal, as well as Road Warrior Hawk and Finjuice. Yes, New Japan Pro Wrestling's own Finjuice defeated the Good Brothers to win the Impact Wrestling World Tag Team Championships. Chris G, what was your thoughts on New Japan's former IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champions beating the Good Brothers here?
Yeah, I'm shocked. That's my rating. I'm not even gonna give it a star rating. This is shocking. And I mean, I enjoyed the match because it had that real like old school shit heel tag team versus the young and up and coming babyface tag team. So I like that dynamic. Finjuice works really good together. I'm glad that I got to see a little bit more of them because I don't really get to see a lot of them considering New Japan goes live at like 3 in the morning in the States. So it's tough for me to catch up on New Japan. But damn, I really enjoyed the match, and I'm genuinely shocked. Like this Forbidden Door is kicked the fuck open right now, and I like it. I like the fact that there's a New Japan Wrestling Tag Team Impact Champions. It's just the cross promotion is it's stimulating. That's all I can say. It's stimulating.
Yes, it's stimulating how frequent this Forbidden Door is swinging. But the first big change within this Forbidden Door, you had Private Party get the shot at the Impact Wrestling Tag Team titles last month at No Surrender, and they came up short. But that, I think that made people going in believe that the Good Brothers were just going to get another victory here, especially because it was an Impact Plus special. But I think this is a big time shakeup in Impact Wrestling. You cover Impact Wrestling on Blunt Impact Ness. What was your thoughts on FinJuice defeating the Good Brothers? And I think you had a correct prediction here.
Yeah, I think going into when these guys actually first started feuding, I said that they would be the ones to take the titles off. But like going into the match itself, I think I might have said that. I'm like, all right, yeah, Good Brothers going to retain just for the fact that, you know, the whole storyline of Kenny and the Good Brothers being built up. And again, just like you said, it was an Impact Plus special. It wasn't like a regular pay-per-view. I just thought it was just going to be another, you know, they win, dirty finish, and they just scurry off with the titles. But the fact that they actually went through it and FinJuice got the title, I'm shocked. Like, I'm going to give it a 3.5. I think the match was solid. But again, yeah, I'm shocked because it's just, I said it was going to happen, but I didn't think it was going to happen here. You know, I could have probably seen it happening at Rebellion, but, you know, I'm not mad at them pulling the trigger on it. Because again, it was a shocker. It definitely was a swerve for me. Came out of nowhere. And I love the fact that it's FinJuice. When you think of New Japan, you think of the Okadas, the Naitos, the Ibushis, guys on that level. But now you have a team that might not get as much notoriety as those guys that I just mentioned. Now that you have no choice but to put that respect on their name because they came from where they're from. Not to mention that they were the young boys to these guys. People that aren't familiar with that, these guys were, you know, trained under these guys, you know, had to carry their bags, buy their beers, all type of like lackey type of things. But now, you know, they're showing up. They're former IWGP tag team champions. Now they're Impact World Tag Team Champions, and they beat the guys that they used to have to be the young boys for. So overall, it definitely makes for a great story, and it was a great match. So I just want to see if they end up having to defend them in New Japan, because I think that would be great as well. More spotlights for both promotions. You know, like this Forbidden Door, man. As many people that might not be for it, it's great for everybody involved, man. Just overall, it's a phenomenal thing.
Yeah, it's been great for us as fans, so it's great and it has to be great for the performers, especially of Impact Wrestling, getting eyes on their product that wasn't already there, and getting the opportunity to also perform in AEW. That would be great as well. Like we talked about with Rich Swann being able to jump over to AEW. We want to see more of that besides the Good Brothers, so that would be great. But as far as this matchup, like I said, I thought it was a rock solid tag team contest. FinJuice are just great baby faces. They just have a great comeback. Whether I love Juice Robinson's comeback. It's not of the elite levels of Nick Jackson or Luchasaurus of the world, but he's really, when it comes to Impact Wrestling, he's in the upper echelon of what they can do as far as like tag teams and their comebacks. Juice Robinson had a great one in this matchup. And this match was really well worked from all four competitors. So I gave this match 3.25 stars. I thought it was good. They got in, got out, and at the end of the day, a big time title change is something that will get people talking about Impact Wrestling Sacrifice. I mean, hell, it's one of the reasons why we are live right now with you guys. So if you are watching, drop us a like on YouTube. Drop us a like, a heart emoji, a laugh emoji, an angry emoji. If you're watching on Facebook, we have a few people watching, but not as many people watching as emote or as an expression. So you drop us an expression, a like, a heart. Show your support to Tru Heel Heat. Share this in all your favorite Facebook groups so more people can get engaged and talk about Impact Wrestling Sacrifice. But we got to move on, guys. We got to go through the entire card. We touched on the two main matches, the main event and the semi-main event. But let's start all the way back at the beginning for Impact Wrestling Sacrifice 2021. The opening matchup was a tag team match. It was the tag team of Reno Scum versus the Decay of Crazy Steve and Black Toros with Rosemary. Of course, Rosemary in the end got involved using the green mist on one of the members of Reno Scum, and then Black Torres hits his finisher, a Michinoku driver of sorts, to get the victory. This one was a pretty well worked as well opening tag team matchup. I gave this one 2.5 stars, excuse me. Read my notes wrong there. 2.5 stars. Good way to start off the show. Black Torres looking good, and he's been a quality pickup for Impact.
Yeah, hell yeah.
He came on board. Ness, I know you love your Mexican, so talk about Torres and talk about this match.
Yeah, this match was solid. I gave it 2.5. A decent opener. Probably one of the matches on the card that I really didn't have much going into because we already knew Decay was going to win. I just think that this was a better showing for Reno Scum. I don't really look for these guys at all, but they got a little bit more offense in this match than they usually do. So I'll give them credit for that. But yeah, I even got to give it to Crazy Steve. Looked good in this match. Black Taurus, he's just phenomenal. He's a great pickup for Impact. And just the Decay in itself, because I really wasn't. These guys were okay to me, but now with him aligned with them, it's more so of something that I want to see when their matches come on because he's going to be in the match. So yeah, 2.5. It was a solid opener.
Solid opener for Ness. Chris G, what was your thoughts on the opener between Decay and Reno Scum?
I gave it 2.5 stars as well. I thought it was a fun little opening match. Crazy Steve and Black Taurus have good chemistry for a team that's just been kind of thrown together in the last month or so. So I'm excited to see how far they go in the tag team division. I think Impact can use a few more tag teams. So I'm looking forward to it. It was a good way to start the show, I think.
I agree. Good way to start the show with some tag team action. We got in the comments here on YouTube, Mark Lloyd, he seems to be a little peeved with AEW putting Christian in the world title picture. He says, how can AEW say they care about ladders to the titles? This is as TNA as you can get. This is an overreaction, folks.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to tell you that, Mark Lloyd. I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you commenting. But we haven't even got an announcement for Christian Cage versus Kenny Omega for the AEW World Championship. So how can you say AEW doesn't care about ladders to titles when they haven't done anything? He just picked up the title. He had an interaction with Kenny Omega. Maybe he's getting a shot at Double or Nothing. Maybe he's getting a shot on TV. We don't know. Just try to be patient and let it happen and then react. That I always ask this of wrestling fans, and on these live, we get a lot of people watching. So I'm once again asking, just let things play out. I try to let things play out in WWE, but we've been conditioned to kind of know what to expect with them. But with Impact Wrestling, AEW, New Japan, let's give them a chance because they inspire that type of trust in us as wrestling fans. Just not treat everything like WWE. That's just me. So yes, let's move on. There was more tag team action to get into. We got Romeo in the over on YouTube. Patience ? With wrestling fans. Absolutely, it's a strange thing. It's a strange axe. I will say it is a strange axe, but I'm sorry, I have to ask. What's your guys' whole thoughts on the new Decay? I haven't heard you guys really talk about them much on Blunt Impact, but what's your guys' think about Black Torres being inserted into the Decay act with Crazy Steve and Rosemary Ness?
I like it. He fits with them. Just the overall, just his gimmick and their gimmick mesh well. Like as we heard before, how there might have been a pitch to put Sammy Guevara with those guys. He does not fit with them whatsoever. They would have to completely revamp his gimmick or just him as a person. But when you have somebody like the look of Black Taurus, he looks like a monster already. You're putting one monster with other, monsters or ghouls, so to speak. People are the supernatural type of thing. So it all works out great. And he can go in the ring. I think he's probably the reason why I'll watch a Decay match and be excited to see a Decay match simply because of him. No slight to Crazy Steve or Rosemary because they're great talents in their own right. But yeah, I've definitely been more invested in the Decay ever since Black Taurus has been along with them. But you guys know I love Lucha Libre. I love my Mexicans, so I'm a little bit biased. But he's shown up. He's carried his own, so it's warranted.
Yes, you're an advocate for all Mexican and Lucha Libre wrestling. We love you for it, Ness. But let's move on to the second matchup on the card. Like I said, some tag team action, but with a twist. It was Tennille Dashwood teaming up with Caleb with a K to verse Havoc and Nevaeh. These four parties have been feuding kind of in backstage segments over the last couple of weeks on Impact on Access TV, excuse me. And they had this match here with Tennille and Caleb getting the victory thanks to a roll-up and a miscommunication with Havoc distracting the referee. I did not enjoy this match as much as I enjoyed the opener. I gave this 1.25 stars. What was your thoughts, Chris G?
Shit, 1.25. I gave this 2 stars because it wasn't great, but the only positive I can take out is that this felt like the first time in a while. This is like Tennille's more actual wrestling than comedy match. You know what I mean? Like actually putting in work rather than just being comedic and then doing her spots. Which is a trend in the right direction, I guess. She's been a little bit more serious. So it's the only thing I could really take from this.
Yeah, at least there's that. Ness, what was your thoughts on this matchup?
I'll be in the middle of you guys. I'll give it a 1.5. It really wasn't like much for it to happen. The only thing that I did get I could take away from this match was I was shocked that Tennille and Caleb with a K actually won this match. Going into it, I figured that having a Nevaeh got past their, the losing and Nevaeh doubting herself. She's finally reconnected with Havoc. I figured that what better way to show that reconnection than for them to get the victory at the Impact Plus event of Sacrifice. But that was a swerve thrown out, and with Tennille Dashwood picking the the reverse roll up when I said, "Wow, okay." I definitely because I think I said that I felt as though Havoc and Nevaeh were going to win going into this match, and for it to come out, they didn't. So again, swerves are always nice, but like the match itself really wasn't like spectacular or just like really anything worth mentioning. So yeah, I just give it a 1.5. The only reason, the more so of it being a 1.5 is the fact that Tennille and Caleb with a K won.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's my main reason. And I just felt like it was just a little bit sloppy. It wasn't the best work. I love Havoc and Nevaeh. I like the story going on. It has a little bit of slow burn feel to it. And I think the eventual rivalry between Havoc and Nevaeh is going to be good, but this matchup, not so much. I needed more Havoc beating the crap out of Caleb with the K to enjoy this, but I didn't get enough of that. Next up, we had more tag team action as it was Violent by Design, Diener and Joe Doring with EY, Eric Young, in their corner, versing the team of James Storm and Chris Sabin, Beer Guns, with Jake something in their corner. This is a grudge match type of tag team matchup, and it was a good one. I thought it was very entertaining. Plenty of action on inside the ring as well as outside with Jake something and EY going at it. In the end, it looked like Chris Sabin was surrounded by Violent by Design, but none other than Rhino, the man that Violent by Design took out, as well as his best friend Heath. They took out both of them. He came back and he looked like he was on the side of Chris Sabin, but of course it was a swerve, and Rhino gave Chris Sabin the gore to give Diener the victory, and Violent by Design won this tag team matchup. I gave this one 3 stars. Like I said, the action was good. The swerve ending did not get me as upset as it probably was intended to, because I like Violent by Design. I don't know about you guys, but I enjoy their whole act. My main objection to this matchup, and I'll probably start talking about it more with the next matchup, is just way too many tag team matches back to back to back without any real difference in how they're booked, especially the last two matches with the referee being distracted in the Caleb with the K match, and then the referee going down due to a ref bump here, and Rhino causing the victory for Violent by Design. But the action itself was good, so that's why it gets 3 stars. Ness, what was your thoughts on Violent by Design versus Chris Sabin and James Storm?
Yeah, this was a solid match. I gave it 3 1/4. Good back and forth action. Again, that swerve at the end, man, I definitely did not see that coming. I think going into this match, I predicted that Chris Sabin and James Storm were going to get the victory. I just felt possibly going into it, they had a little bit momentum, especially with Jake something on their side. You know, these guys are getting tired of Violent by Design, you know, running roughshod over the Impact locker room. So I figured they would go in. But again, out of nowhere with these swerves, man, Rhino comes back, which that's going to be a great way, or I'm waiting to see how greatly they explain the guy that they put out. One of the first guys that they took out is now aligned with them. So I can't wait for that explanation and see how that came about. But again, it was just something out of nowhere and you weren't expecting. So, you know, I'm going into the match, I'm always here for the swerves, and you know, it was right. It was done nicely. So I can appreciate the fact that they had to happen like this. So yeah, 3 1/4. It was solid.
Yeah, Rhino just has the face that just screams heel.
Yeah.
It felt right when he was by the side of Violent by Design. Chris G, what was your thoughts on this match?
I gave it 3 stars. I enjoyed it. Good chemistry between all guys. Joe Doring looked like a beast, of course. I'm just waiting for Heath to come back now. Now shit gets a little bit more interesting when Heath comes back, because we were thinking Heath is going to come back with Rhino and try to get back at Violent by Design. So now Rhino being thrown into the mix with them, I like it. He fits. He's an old violent fuck, so why not? He threw me off the swerve. I mean, I can't be mad at that. I can't be mad at being swerved. I didn't see that coming. I just really want to see Heath, man. It's just like I feel like he had kind of had momentum coming in to Impact, and then it just got taken away from him because of his injury. And now that Rhino's like not even his tag partner anymore, it's like, is this a ploy? There's just so many possibilities going on. So I'm here for it. But the match itself was cool. I gave it 3 stars.
Yeah, like you said, Heath had a lot of momentum. Like his whole story was one of the hooks for Bound for Glory in that Battle Royal. So yeah, it's sad to see that injuries can kind of take it just like that. We got in the comments section on YouTube, Von Piff Beats, my boy Gumby, saying, "What's good in the hood? Your show is great. I like it. High Bridge 104 Fever Deuce." We also got Romeo over on YouTube saying, "The Ness, you'll be thrilled to know Cinco de Mayo falls on a Wednesday this year. So brace yourself for a themed Dynamite." And then we got CM saying Impact is starting to get back to pre-Hogan quality. And yes, pre-Hogan, it was the top notch of Impact from like 2004, 2005 to 2009 was peak Impact Wrestling or TNA. So you are definitely 100% right, CM. Thank you for commenting. And anyone else watching, please leave your comments on YouTube, on Facebook. Drop us a like, drop us a heart emoji. And of course, if you are new watching us on YouTube, give us a subscribe. If you're watching on Facebook and you haven't subscribed to the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel already, what the hell are you doing? Go over there and subscribe. The fellas are always over there. These two always with their blunts, with their friendly assistants, Mary Jane, talking about Impact Wrestling every single week. So for folks like Jason Michael Campbell, who said in the comments he doesn't watch Impact Wrestling that much, Chris G and Ness are here for you, just like we are every single week. And we also talk about it on Tru Heel Heat Weekly Podcast on Saturday. So drop us a subscribe if you haven't already. Let's get into more action on Impact Wrestling Sacrifice. Next up was another match that got a lot of build-up heading into this night, the Hold Harmless match between Brian Myers and Eddie Edwards. Watching the video package for this match, I really had to say, like, Brian Myers has really become one of the better characters on this show, on Impact Wrestling. Like, his heel work, he makes you dislike him. He makes you want to see him get beat up and get his ass kicked. So he is doing his job as a heel, in my opinion. And they did a good job of kind of telling that story with the video package. But this was a plunder type of brawl, but with two quality wrestlers in it. So this was a whole lot of fun with a good story throughout. I love the ending, coming back to the matchup they had on Impact on Access TV when Matt Cardona was the referee, and Brian Myers used a loaded arm pad to do his lariat and try to get the victory and got disqualified. Eddie Edwards took the loaded arm pad and put the metal in his knee and performed the Boston Knee Party for the win here. But this match had plenty of great action. We had a backpack stunner through a table, with I would have said this hurt Eddie more or just as much as Brian Myers, but Brian Myers back of the head slapped the table. That was just a great spot. We got a superplex on steel chairs and metal. This match just had so much fun, solid wrestling throughout. So I gave it 3.5 stars. Chris G, what was your thoughts? Oh, we lost Chris G. The Hold Harmless match has made Chris G eliminate himself from the live stream. So Ness, what was your thoughts on the Hold Harmless match between Brian Myers and Eddie Edwards?
All right, so I must apologize to anybody that actually does watch Blunt Impact, because for some strange reason, this what we call baked booking, is when we make these high-ass decisions of how the storylines are going to go. I said that Matt Cardona would come out and turn heel and help Brian Myers. That clearly did not happen, and I clearly was high as shit for making that statement. So let's have that stricken from the record books. I apologize, folks. Now, to piggyback off of what you said, SP3, yes, Brian Myers does make you hate him, make you want to punch him in the face. That is how I feel about Brian Myers when it comes to his character. I might not want to see him in the ring as much, but when he's just talking, he's just in the backstage segments, you know, sometimes with Scott D and Moore, just whatever he's doing, I just hate the guy. And as much as he annoys me, I have to give him his props, because that's what he's supposed to be doing. He's the chicken shit heel, the pain in the ass heel that you hate to like. So he definitely wins in all categories as far as that. The match itself was definitely brutal. It was a lot of hardcore action. I don't want to really necessarily deem him as this, but Eddie Edwards is reminding me of prime ECW Tommy Dreamer at this point, because a lot of his matches have.
I thought I was the only one.
No,
there was one point during this match, especially because he's wearing the Impact Hard to Kill pay-per-view T-shirt.
Yes.
Like, he's not wearing his own T-shirt. Like, he's wearing a T-shirt of the company he works for. That's when I was like, yo, he's like really like this generation's
Tommy Dreamer.
And like, his title hand is his Raven. Like,
oh shit. All right, so I respect that feud much more now, if you're putting it that way. Yes, that makes so much sense. Now just sitting here discussing it, that definitely makes a lot of sense. But yeah, man, it was great. And then even they had like you said, the callback to the match where Matt Cardona was a special guest referee, that they even played up on that in this match itself. So all of those bits and pieces going into this match, it definitely made for a great match. And 3.5, it was great.
Chris G is back with us. What was your thoughts on the Hold Harmless match between Myers and Edwards?
I gave this 3 stars. I enjoyed all the destruction, of course. I never put that comparison together though, and it makes so much sense, because it's like you get that old school or prime Tommy Dreamer feel from Eddie Edwards nowadays, right? But damn, Sammy being his Raven, it's a good one. It kind of makes sense. Kind of makes sense. But for the match itself, I enjoyed it. I'm glad that Matt Cardona got involved, but it was minimal. It was actually a nice little like inadvertent double team move when he takes out Hernandez. So that was a nice little touch. I want to see more interaction between Brian Myers and Matt Cardona, but I don't mind them slowly building to it. So I enjoyed this though. I enjoyed it. It was better than I thought it was going to be, to be honest.
Yeah, it definitely was a lot of fun. Eddie Edwards just knows how to do this type of match. Like he's been doing it for the last couple of years, and it's just consistent that he always has one of the better matches on the show when he's in this type of matchup. So we got to talk about the championship portion of Impact Wrestling Sacrifice, because Matt Striker put a lot of emphasis that this is the championship portion of Impact Sacrifice as they went into the first championship matchup. It was for the Knockouts Tag Team Championships, Fire and Flavor versus Jordynne Grace and Jazz. These ladies have been feuding quite a bit for the last couple of weeks. They even were featured in a main event contest with Deonna Purrazzo, Tasha, and Jordan. And this match was another really good, fun matchup. Like Fire and Flavor hitting these different tag team moves. They are arguably one of the better tag teams, regardless of gender, in Impact Wrestling right now. And it really feels like how it felt when the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships first came. Like they felt like they were tag team titles that were birthed for Bayley and Sasha to kind of be the first champions and be the hallmark for them. And although they didn't get there with their first reign, they definitely established themselves as the greatest with their second reign. Fire and Flavor have that feel to them, where the Knockouts Tag Team titles feel like they were made just for them, because they seem to be gelling more and more as a tag team every time they go out there. They're in there with a veteran and a legend like Jazz and one of the better women's wrestlers in the world of Jordynne Grace. It was a really good matchup with Fire and Flavor hitting a tag team combination that ended with Kiera Hogan hitting the roll of the dice for the win in about 11, 12 minutes. I gave this one 3.25 stars. Like I said, I thought it was another really good matchup and different from the other tag team matches on this night. Chris G, what was your thoughts on the Knockouts Tag Team titles match?
I gave this match 2.75. I enjoyed it though. I like the back and forth action. Just seeing Jazz in there with the Next Generation is kind of cool, right? And then Jordynne Grace doing her thing. Fire and Flavor is one of my favorite tag teams, regardless of gender, because not only just how they gel in the ring, but just their character work. Like, they're just such shit heels. Like, I hate to say that about females, but they're just such shit heels, and it's good. Good shit, pal. I enjoy it. I'm curious to see who's the next tag team up, because they already gone through the Havoc and Nevaeh. Now Jordan and Jazz. I don't know. We got to start seeing some tag teams being built up on the women's side.
Yeah. I mean, this kind of felt more like it would have been more suited for the Rebellion card, because Jordynne Grace and Jazz feels like such a big tag team for their Knockouts Tag Team titles that I probably would have preferred this, and it was a good match. I probably would have preferred this at Rebellion. And I also wouldn't mind it continuing as a storyline as well. But Ness, what was your thoughts on the Knockouts Tag Team titles match?
Yeah, I give this match 3.25. I enjoyed it overall. Everybody played to their strengths. Jazz, the OG in this match, so you can just see how much of her influence on Jordynne Grace. Someone who was already a phenomenal world-class athlete. Again, whether between males and females, she is a top talent. And you could just see that the guidance of Jazz is just making her even that much more better. But then you have like you said, I'm a mark. I'll straight up say this, I'm a mark for Fire and Flavor. They definitely have been carrying the Knockouts division, the tag team division at that, because they felt like they're made for it. Like you said, they got the tag titles. They're running around, big shit talking, big shit walking, because they back it up, and it was great. So overall, this was a good match, and I'm ready to see. I don't know who else who they can who they can face next. I wouldn't mind seeing them face Jazz and Jordan again. I actually do agree with that. I didn't see this coming on the Sacrifice event. Maybe it's Rebellion. Definitely seemed like it was a bigger stage for that. But who knows? We could always get the rematch and see that again. But yeah, definitely a Fire and Flavor mark over here. So I'm happy to see them retain.
Absolutely. We got a couple of comments here on YouTube. We got on Facebook as well. Maurice Williams, good brother, saying, "Sup, homies? I ain't gonna lie. I feel a type of way about the outcome of the world title match. The wrong man won." We got into it a lot, Maurice, at the top of the show, but the wrong man the wrong man did not win. It was the right man. Rich Swann is the right man for right now to be the Impact Wrestling World Champion, because whoever's the champion right now is going to lose to Kenny Omega on April 24th. And that should not be Moose. Like, it's okay for Moose to lose here if he's eventually going to be the guy who beats Kenny Omega. Like Romeo said, Kenny Omega losing clean, it happens such rarely in wrestling, and someone from Impact beating Kenny Omega would be huge. So that guy should be Moose. So that kind of answers where WrestleScopes asks, what does Moose do now? He waits. He waits till the dust settles from Kenny winning the title at Rebellion, and he waits a couple of months, and then he comes back in the summer and he gears up for Bound for Glory. I don't know if that's going to be the time, because we've been hearing a lot of conflicting conversation as far as the booking for this matchup, because Tony Khan doesn't want Kenny Omega to lose while he's AEW World Champion. But, Impact Wrestling, they want a champion that's on TV very often. So there's been, talk, I think it was in the Wrestling Observer newsletter, as well as other different sites, that they're not too sure on who's going to win this title versus title match. So we just got to wait and see. CM says Archer versus Moose, ? Would you like to see that match, Chris Z?
Absolutely. I mean, just two big dudes that could do shit that two big dudes shouldn't be doing. Sign me up.
Absolutely. That would be a whole bunch of fun. We got Romeo saying, CM, that'd be fun, but looks like they doing something with Archer and Sting. Yes, we did see the start of the storyline, it seems, with that. April 24th, screw job ending. Omega does not win the Impact title, says WrestleScope. That is a possibility. That's a very strong possibility that we get a screw job. But should AEW be associated with any screw job after the shit we had to AEW Revolution? That's debatable. That's debatable. But we got, I think, 2 more matches to get into. Next up, Impact Wrestling X Division Championship is on the line. Before the main event, fellas, this was unquestionably the best match on this evening. You had TJP defending the X Division Championship against Ace Austin. Ace Austin basically had to jump through hoops to even get this opportunity. He had to win the Super X Cup at Genesis. Then he had to win a 6-man tag team matchup with Chris Bay and Black Torres. Then he had to beat Black Torres and Chris Bay in a triple threat. He's picked up a couple of losses along the way, but Ace Austin has been on a hell of a roll. And I like the commentary bringing back a whole story that I kind of forgot about, that TJP was the first guy to defeat Ace Austin in Impact Wrestling. On his first night back in the company, TJP beat Ace Austin when he was still on a winning streak, as he was a fresh act in Impact Wrestling. But this match was just straight quality and X Division action. Like we talked about, the prime X Division, like CM said, pre-Hogan X Division, like 2005 to 2009. This was a reminder of it. And I love the fact that they were talking about some of those pioneers like P.D. Williams and Chris Sabin, because this match kind of gave you that feel. And this was a match that made you wish it was in front of fans, because fans went nuts for a lot of this action. TJP mixing in the technical expertise with some high flying. Ace Austin being a slimy heel, hiding behind Madman Fulton, using him to his advantage when he can. But in the end, it was his resourcefulness that got the victory, as he hit a double stomp on the head of TJP and then hit the fold for the victory to become a 2-time X Division champion. I gave this matchup 3 3/4 stars. This was near greatness, in my opinion. Ace Austin deserves and should be in the main event scene, but giving him the X Division championship, he is a guy that you kind of build the division around. You guys like Ace Austin and Chris Bay should be the basis of the X Division right now. And I like the fact that they had Chris Bay defeat Ace Austin on Impact Wrestling on Access TV on the lead up to this, because now he has ready-made matchups with Chris Bay having a victory over him. Josh Alexander's has the victory over him. He has a rematch with TJP. We may be on the way to a 4-way possibly at Rebellion, which would be a whole lot of fun. You know, X Division love to do their multi-man brawls, and they always do it great. But this match, 3 3/4 stars. Ness, what was your thoughts on Ace Austin versus TJP?
I give this match 4 stars. Like you said, if it wasn't for the main event, this probably would have been my match of the night. Man, both these guys is phenomenal talents. Again, me being a mark for the high-flying, fast-paced, high-octane action that is the X Division, these guys definitely delivered on every aspect of that style of wrestling. Another aspect of the match that I enjoyed, that Madman Fulton was there, but he really didn't get interjected into the match more so that we're used to him doing, like actually interject himself in the match and you know, maybe sometimes attacking or distracting you know, his Ace Austin's opponent. But for the most part, Ace went out there and pretty much got the victory, even though he was doing some slimy shit at the end of it. But you know, he went out there and set for himself and brought back the X Division title to, you know, to him and his camp. So I gotta give him his props for that. And it was just, again, if it wasn't for that main event, this definitely would have been my match of the night.
100%. Chris G, what was your thoughts on Ace Austin versus TJP?
I gave this 3 3/4 stars. I think, I mean, they did good. I just wanted more, because this match, you know, I like the X Division style match. The right man won. You know, TJP losing puts a smile on CM's faces. It also puts a smile on Ness's face.
It does.
He loves to see TJP lose. So, but I don't know. I liked it. I feel like they could have done more, or it could have been longer. But you know, not much else to nitpick from it. Just great action all around. If they do a 4-way at Rebellion, I hope it's an Ultimate X match, because it's been a while since we've seen one. Yeah. So, what better show to put it on than Rebellion?
Yeah.
I would
with
love
those 4 guys too, which would be a good combination of men.
Yeah, because like Josh Alexander kind of would be the base, kind of flipping people around and stuff. You got, you know, Ace Austin. TJP can kind of mix in his technical work. Ace Austin can do his high flying. Chris Bay can do some high flying. Yeah, that would be one hell of a matchup, and that would give Rebellion another money matchup that people must see, besides Kenny Omega versus Rich Swann. So yeah, a lot of good things going on in the X Division. It's been on a good run, in my opinion. You know, from Chris Bay to Rohit Raju being kind of a different type of champion, being the chicken shit heel type of champion, to TJP kind of being a fighting champion for the 100 days that he was champion. And now you got Ace Austin back at the helm as the face of the X Division. They're just doing good stuff. You know, we had the great matchup with TJP and Josh Alexander on TV a couple of weeks ago. Ace Austin versus Chris Bay was great on Impact last week. So X Division is back, and it's healthy right now in Impact Wrestling. Give us your thoughts in the comments on the live chat on Facebook as well as on YouTube. Who your favorite is in the X Division right now? My personal favorite is Chris Bay, but Ace Austin being champion, like I said, is a proper mark. So we have one final match to get into. Thank you for everyone who is still with us. We've been going on for about an hour about Impact Wrestling Sacrifice. We try to keep these roundtable reviews kind of short, not like the Revolution one that was nuts and all over the place, 2 hours long, talking about that shit show at the end and all the great action that they had there. Impact Wrestling, there's not a lot to rant about, and there's a lot to praise, but we don't have to praise that long. But we always want to hear from you guys, so drop a comment in the live chat. If you're watching on demand, drop us a comment in the comment section. And if you are new, if you're only watching on Facebook and you haven't checked out the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel, go over there, check us out. And if you're so kind, if you want to support us, drop us a subscribe and press the bell. Always stay notified. And once again, if you're watching on Facebook, drop us a thumbs up, a heart emoji, a laugh emoji, an angry emoji. Show us your emotions on Impact Wrestling Sacrifice. But like I said, one more match for us to get into, and it was for the Impact Wrestling Knockouts Championship. Deonna Purrazzo defending the Impact Wrestling Knockouts Championship against ODB. These ladies have been feuding since ODB returned to Impact Wrestling. This match was kind of a styles clash. You know, ODB is more of the meat and potatoes type of brawling type of lady, while Deonna Purrazzo is arguably one of the best technical wrestlers in the world, regardless of gender. And I just think that the styles did not mesh very well here. I mean, a lot of the stuff that got your attention in the match was happening on, you know, on the outside of the ring. It was just a jumbled up mess, but it kind of got more focused when they got rid of the extra participants on the outside, where Deonna Purrazzo caught ODB in midair, locked her in the Venus de Milo, and got the tap out victory. I gave this match 2 stars. I thought that Deonna Purrazzo tried her best to kind of keep this together. But, you know, ODB has done great work in Impact Wrestling in the past and in the wrestling business in general. But you could tell she's a little bit rusty at this point. But, Ness, what was your thoughts on ODB versus Deonna?
Yeah, I gave this match 2.5. One point of the match that I actually will give them credit for is the fact that the referee actually saw Kimberly interjecting herself in the match. And they played up on it on commentary, and they made it a point of referee discretion, which I actually like the fact that the referee, again, they acknowledged it. It wasn't the fact that, you know, the ref saw it and then act like he didn't know what was going on. They actually played up on the fact that, all right, the referee can either, you know, disqualify Deonna Purrazzo right now, she'll still retain, or he can let the match continue, let her show that she's a fighting champion and she can retain, or it gives ODB the chance to actually overcome the odds and win. So I like that aspect of the match. But yeah, I was just in this match literally for Deonna Purrazzo to retain. No slight to ODB, she's a knockouts legend and all the praise to her, but she can't hold a candle to Deonna Purrazzo. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, but it just seemed like Deonna was going a step slower than she usually does in her matches. And, you know, she was definitely just laser focused on that arm. She was working the arm throughout the whole match. Matt Striker was just saying on commentary how, you know, she'll get you in that Fujiwara armbar. Literally, as soon as he said that, she's putting the Fujiwara armbar on ODB and then just working it throughout the whole match till she got her in the Venus de Malo for the win. So yeah, 2.25, or did I say 2.5? 2.5 to a quarter, somewhere around there. But yeah, I expect a little bit more, but I'll take Deonna Purrazzo retaining. So that's a win for me.
The right person won. That's kind of the theme of this roundtable review, it seems.
Yeah.
But Chris G, what was your thoughts on Deonna versus ODB?
I gave this 2.25. It was a little clunky. I'm happy that spot, after that spot, like it seemed like it kind of cleaned up a little bit. And then I want to say like the last 3 minutes of the match were cool. Like the intensity picked up, started getting the false finishes, stuff like that. So, I mean, nothing crazy to write about, but the right person won. So I'm just happy to see I'm just curious to see who's going to be Deonna's next challenger.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that really was clear to me watching this matchup is that it seems like Impact Wrestling has kind of been shuffling ever since Kylie Ray left the company. Like, it seemed like they were on a certain path with what was going on as far as their stories with the Knockouts division. You know, it seemed like they were on their way to have Kylie Ray beat Deonna Purrazzo at Bound for Glory, and they kind of been shuffling ever since, and they've gone back to Deonna as like the stable force to kind of stabilize things, which she has been that, and she's been doing a great job of it. But it kind of just feels like the Knockouts, especially the championship scene, is lost. And even what we're talking about with the tag team division, after, you know, Jordan Grace and Jazz goes down, it's like, who's left with the tag team division if Havoc and Nevaeh are breaking up over here? So it's like, they have the talent in Impact Wrestling in the Knockouts division. I just think that they just need a clear focus now. What do you guys think, Christy?
I think they need to build more babyface women, because other than Jordan Grace, who's now in a tag team, I feel like they don't really have like their primary women's matches are like tag teams. You know, they have so many tag teams or groups of women, and there's no like solo stars besides Deonna Purrazzo. So either build from the ground up and start bringing some women in and try to build a star, get them the correct training, or I don't know, man. We'll see Deonna go on a hell of a run.
Yeah, this feels like this is like the start of like a year-long run for Deonna Purrazzo, or at least a next couple of months. Ness, what's your thoughts?
Far as, you know, like the knockouts division or the tag team division, I really can't say where I think they're going to go with that. I agree with Chris G. They're going to have to, you know, amp up the teams and put more emphasis as far as the knockouts tag team division. But far as Deonna Purrazzo and just the knockouts world championship or for the women, I wouldn't mind seeing her possibly beating Taya Valkyrie's reign as being the longest reigning. At this point, she's already ran through everybody. Like you said, SP3, with it seemed like it was going to be Kylie Ray at the point. We all know that, you know, she retired from pro wrestling, and hopefully she's doing well in that regard. But yeah, at this point, Deonna's just been going out there literally showing that she is one of, if not the best women's wrestlers in the world, definitely one of the best technical wrestlers, again, whether it's, you know, of gender, whatever the case may be. But I wouldn't mind, me personally, I wouldn't mind seeing her go on to be the longest reigning knockouts champion.
Hey, if they want to be like WWE and erase from history someone that left the company, why not? Why not? Just have her hold it for another whole year until you have another woman ready. Maybe by then, Fire and Flavor lost the tag team titles, and one of them are on a babyface run and could beat Deonna for the title. That could happen. We don't know what's going to happen in the future, but it was worth chatting about here a little bit. We got Romeo with one last comment saying NXT not being able to find a spot for Deonna is frustrating, but glad she has shined in Impact. Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
She definitely has shined and has become one of the best knockouts champions of all time. Like, she deserves to be recognized in the same breath as Tessa Blanchard or Taya Valkyrie or Gail Kim or Awesome Kong in the past. You guys agree?
Yeah, hell yeah. I'm a Mark. I'm a Deonna Purrazzo Mark, so I'm going to agree with that for sure. And I'm actually glad that she has this platform and Impact to show what she can do. Because everything that Romeo said, I felt that way, because seeing her in NXT, it was just like, all right, she's just this body that's here. You know, she really didn't have that, get that shot to show what she can truly do. But now we're seeing it in Impact, and they'll, you know, who knows? They'll probably come calling for her to come back eventually.
Yes, like she's one that is just like frustrating and shaking your head at how NXT lost out on that act. But yeah, we digress. But we got to kind of put this to a close on Impact Wrestling Sacrifice. So first of all, what was your match of the night, Chris G, for Impact Wrestling Sacrifice 2021?
Definitely the main event, Moose vs. Rich Swann. The X Division Championship match was pretty good too, but yeah, that main event killed it.
Ness?
Yeah, I gotta go with the main event. I'll honorable mention the X Division title match as well.
I'm going to go full in with the honorable mention. I'm just going to go match of the night. The X Division Championship match between Ace Austin and TJP. That was action-packed, and it reminded me of the great X Division era of 2005 through 2009. And Moose versus Rich Swann. Rich Swann looked great. He looks like a fighting champion and like a top baby face in Impact Wrestling. But Moose was a highlight here, and he just looked like a very credible monster heel, and he just screamed a guy that looked like he belonged in WWE. Honestly, a lot of this match, I was just like, damn, Moose would. If they messed up Moose in WWE, I'd be so pissed. He's a former NFL player. Like, he has so much credentials, and he has this great look now and this great character. Yeah, enough. So, MVP of Impact Wrestling Sacrifice 2021, Ness.
I'm going to go with Rich Swann, obviously, because he retained, or not even just retained, he won the unification title match. But I'm definitely going to say Ace Austin. I have to say Ace Austin. All these hurdles and hoops he's been having to jump over and jump through within like the past couple of weeks and couple months just to get to this point and then go on and win, finally get back. Now he's a 2-time X Division champion. I got to go with Ace Austin as well. So Rich Swann and Ace Austin.
Chris G.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Rich Swann. As much as I want to give it to Moose, he lost though, so I'm gonna have to give it to Rich Swann.
I want to show love. I showed love to Moose with the match of the night. I gave Rich Swann their praise. Also gave praise to Ace Austin and TJP with those guys getting the co-match of the night. So I got to honor somebody else on this card. My MVPs, though, is FinJuice. New Japan Pro Wrestling. If you had told me a year ago in March of 2020 that a New Japan Pro Wrestling team would be winning the Impact Wrestling tag team titles in 1 year's time, I would have told you were lying. You're a goddamn liar. And New Japan hates Impact for what they did to Okada. I would have swore to you that all of that. But we're here now. FinJuice becomes the Impact Wrestling tag team champions. And they're only, I believe, the fourth team in history to hold IWGP Tag Team Gold and Impact Wrestling Tag Team Champions. Team 3D, Motor City Machine Guns, the Good Brothers, and now Finn.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
So, who is the LVP of the night, Ness, for Impact Wrestling Sacrifice?
Oh man, this is hard because it was like a solid show. Nobody really. Actually, I guess I'll go with the Good Brothers just for the fact that they were talking big shit going into the match. You know how much they FinJuice for their young boys, and they're in a prominent spot being aligned with Kenny, so they're gonna look real bad right now. Even just coming up on Dynamite, they're on Impact and Dynamite of next week, so this is a major L for them coming on. The high stakes of everything they have going on with Kenny at the moment. So yeah, they got to take the L.
Understandable. Chris G.
I couldn't find that. I enjoyed this, so I couldn't find the LVP, but I had to dig deep. And I remember there was a Swingers Palace segment for like 3 minutes, and Johnny fucking Jabroni Bravo was getting his money took as the dealer again. So you, my friend, you are my Jabroni of the night. No smoking, daddy.
I think
I would not be good at Swingers Palace. Sorry.
I think I mentally erased that from my memory. That's why I mentioned it while we were doing this review. Like, I was like, I just want to forget that there was the Swinger Palace segment. I want to forget that led to Alicia and Tennille going to Scott D'Amore and asking for a match. And he said it's going to be a 6-on-6 match. And then he said, you got to check the internet to find out. I don't want to remember any of that. Shit. That might be my LVP you might be my LVP for reminding me. No, my LVP is none other than Brian Myers because he paid good money for services from Hernandez that his best friend wound up fucking making null and void. So he wasted money. The interference didn't work, and then he lost with his own metal thing in someone else's knee pad. Yeah, he's taking big L's from Sacrifice. Brian Myers is my LVP. So
that's a good one.
Thumbs in the middle, folks. So we're going to give a thumbs up or thumbs down for Impact Wrestling Sacrifice 2021 in 3, 2, 1. Thumbs up all around for Impact Wrestling Sacrifice out of 10 blunts. Since your guys are blunt Impact. Out of 10 blunts, what does Impact Wrestling Sacrifice 2021 get from you guys, Chris G?
Gets 7 blunts and a roach. No, it gets I give it like a 7.25. Like it was a solid card. There was a few matches that were a little down, but it's fine. The matches that we expected to deliver did deliver, and we got a few shocks out of it, so can't complain.
Fair, 7 and a roach. 7 blunts and a roach. All right, Ness, how many blunts out of 10 does Impact Wrestling Sacrifice get?
I'm trying to use the roaches now too, because I like that. That's decent. I'll give it 7 blunts and a half blunt. 7.5 blunts. I enjoyed it overall. Like you said, the swerves that they had, they added to the excitement of the overall show. The matches that we expected to deliver, they definitely did. And I just want to see where, the storylines and everything goes from here on out. So overall, 7.5 blunts. It was a good show.
Agreed. Very good show. I'm going to give this 7 3/4 roaches for Impact Wrestling Sacrifice 2021. Very close.
That's a clip. That's 7 and a clip.
7 and a clip. There you go. 7 and a clip. 7 3/4. 7 and a clip. Blunts for Impact Wrestling Sacrifice. Like you guys said, the main event was great. The X Division Championship, which was so much fun. Great action, and Ace Austin becoming champion made me very happy. New Japan Pro Wrestling Zone, Finn Juice winning the tag team titles. This was a noteworthy show. This was a show that really didn't have that many bad matches. Probably one match I would probably say was bad on the entire show, which is saying something. So I enjoyed it, and I hope you guys enjoyed our Impact Wrestling Sacrifice 2021 review roundtable. Drop us a like if you are watching us on YouTube right now. Share this on all your social media platforms to your friends, to your fellow wrestling fans, of even your family. And if you are new, if you haven't already, drop us a subscribe, push that subscribe button, click on the iCard, and you can subscribe that way as well. Push the bell so you always get notified whenever we have a live stream like this, or whenever we drop new content right here on Tru Heel Heat. A little announcement, our next live stream will be next Saturday for a Tru Heel Heat 117, and we're going to have none other than my co-host from Smack Talk on Sports Keto Wrestling YouTube channel, Rick Ucchino. We're going to talk all about preview and predictions for WWE Fastlane, so stay tuned for that. It's going to be up on our YouTube channel going live on Saturday, as well as it's going to be live right here on Facebook and Twitter, so stay tuned for that, or subscribe and click the bell so you stay notified. Chris G, tell the people where they can find you on social media and everything else that you have here on the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Tru Heel Chris G. You can find me here on the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel, one half of the Pie Heels, of course. We do Blunt Impact. We do Joints and Jabronis, which will be coming out next month. I've been a little lazy with it, but I got a lot of material. It should be a fun episode when we do drop it. And you could also, for the time being, find me as one half of the Wednesday Night Warriors with Romeo Anthony Colon. We'll see what happens in the future. Maybe we'll form a Death Troll angle. Who knows? But you could also hear Ness's illustrious voice on True Toxicity.
And yours. You have an illustrious voice as well.
I wouldn't call it illustrious, but it's all right. It's scratchy. It's like a raspy.
Illustrious. Ness, follow me find you on social media and the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel.
You guys can follow me on Twitter at skinny_Kravitz. You can follow me on Instagram at skinny__Kravitz. And you can catch me right here on the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel. You can catch me on Review of Honor, where my man is Stat King, the man of 1,004 numbers, where we review everything that happens in a Ring of Honor ring. You can also, obviously, catch me on Blunt Impact and Joyce and Jabronis with my man Chris G. We form the Pot Heels, and we cover everything that happens on Impact. I'm the Roundtable Rebel. Pop up on all the roundtables. And as Chris G said, you can hear my illustrious voice on True Toxicity. You can hear all our illustrious voices on True Toxicity.
Absolutely. Illustrious.
Illustrious.
Mini Barry White over here.
Barry White light.
You can find me on Twitter at Tru Heel SP3. You can find me on Instagram, Tru Heel _Epic SP3. You can also follow Tru Heel Heat on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Tru Heel Heat. You can find me every single Wednesday live on the Wrestling Daily YouTube channel with Alex McCarthy on Wrestling Daily, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. BST. You can also find me on the Sports Keto Wrestling YouTube channel every single Friday, immediately following SmackDown on SmackDown with Rick Ucchino. You can find me next Friday, March 19th on Sports Keto Wrestling YouTube channel. We are going live Friday morning, and I'm going to be with Louis Dan Gore of Wrestle Talk, previewing WWE Fastlane 2021 with Roman Reigns versus Daniel Bryan. So stay tuned for that. But of course, subscribe to the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel. Like this video, share this video on all your favorite social media platforms. If you're watching on Facebook, drop us a heart, drop us a like, tag your friends if they like Impact Wrestling, or if they don't, if they haven't been watching, let us keep you in check and up to date on Impact Wrestling. So subscribe to the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel. Check these guys out on Blunt Impact and stay tuned for our live streams. Like I said, once again, next Saturday, March 20th, Tru Heel Heat 117 with Rick Ucchino of Sports Keto Wrestling. That's going to be a great one as we preview WWE Fastlane 2021. Maybe we'll chat a little bit about Impact Wrestling Sacrifice, but you got to watch to stay tuned for all of that. So for the three-time baby making champion, this is Ness. For the Tru Heel marijuana enthusiast himself, Chris G. It is me, your Tru Heel Phenom SP3. This has been our Impact Wrestling Sacrifice 2021 Roundtable Review. We are signing off until next time.